held on Russia committing war crimes against Ukraine. How is this war causing inflation for you? We're getting into wildfire season. Do you know how to prepare your home for safety? And later, can daylight savings time be permanent in next year? All of this and more on News OSU. Hello and welcome to News OSU. I'm Channing Nesmith and today is Tuesday, April 5th. Ukrainian forces are reporting the horrors of Kyiv, where bodies of men showed they were killed execution style. With 410 bodies found in towns recaptured from returning Russian forces near Kyiv, there is now an investigation into possible war crimes committed by Russian troops. According to Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister Iran Vershak, at least 11 mayors have been kidnapped by Russian forces. At least one mayor has been killed. The mayors are from 6 regions, including Kyiv, Kherson, and Donetsk. A local resident told Associated Press on Sunday about Olga Sunkinko and her family reportedly killed in an execution style by Russian troops before being thrown into a pit in a forested area. The reported killings come as Russian forces have been accused of committing brutal war crimes against Ukrainian civilians this weekend.
Had a Molotov cocktail found in his house. So Russians took this cocktail, poured over his head, and burned him alive. That Russian troops took all food away and prohibited people from exiting houses and village to find food, and everyone who tried was shot.
President Zelensky says the number of civilian casualties may be much higher in Bordivanka and other liberated Ukrainian cities than in Buchka. Zelensky underscored the importance of journalists documenting the aftermath in liberated Ukrainian cities. The war on Ukraine worsens inflation across the U.S. as it does impact companies and organizations with no sign of resolution of the war. Businesses are facing the stress of inflation. James Parsons takes a look at how inflation is creating trouble for not only Russia and Ukraine, but right here in your own home.
About 1 in 5 business owners have considered taking out a loan to help with cash flow to counter growing inflation pressure. According to the National Restaurant Association, wholesale food costs were up 7.9% in 2021, and hourly labor costs were up to 8.6% for the year. With prices on goods shipped from Europe skyrocketing, Americans may see higher prices almost everywhere they look. One manager at Stillwater's Wendy's, Janya Irwin, says,
It took me 2 months to get straws. I couldn't get straws, individually packaged straws. I was like, what do you mean I can't get straws?
With the war continuing in Ukraine, prices are rising everywhere. But now you can see it affecting you right here at home.
For now, there are no signs of Russia-Ukraine saga stopping. With sanctions already put on Russian food, energy prices will more than likely continue to rise from the already high numbers they were at. As for Oklahoma, we may already be seeing the effect of it all. Wendy's manager, Irwin, says how she is already tired of all of it.
The prices have tripled. It's outrageous.
The last time this happened was in the 1970s and early 1980s, and the only way America broke the wage price spiral then was for the Federal Service to raise interest rates and push the economy into recession. There are many methods used to control inflation. Some work well, while others may have damaging effects. For now, the short-term outlook is solid because of the past stimulus, but the later years bring great risk of recession. For News OSU, I'm James Parsons.
The outbreak of the worst European conflict in decades has threatened to push inflation even higher, in addition to creating a massive humanitarian crisis that has left more than 13,000 dead and millions displaced. In other news, multiple grass fires have been reported around Payne County and Logan County due to extreme drought conditions. On March 21st, Stillwater Fire Departments responded to a large grass fire that destroyed 3 homes near Sand Creek. Firefighters say grass fires are extremely hard to contain. However, there are things that you can do to make your home and property more safe for fire season. Jolie Salee has more.
Payne County fire departments are responding to many grass fires around the area due to extreme drought conditions.
There's definitely more grass fires per se this month than we average on a regular month.
On March 21st, firefighters in Payne County responded to a large grass fire that destroyed 3 homes. Grass fires like these are extremely hard to control, even with attacks from the ground, the air, and specialized vehicles. By the time firefighters contain them, they have already scorched thousands of acres.
They can destroy, hundreds of homes because it takes that long to get it to contain.
However, there are methods for homeowners to prepare their homes to withstand a fire and minimize the likelihood of flames touching the home or any attachments. Fire protection engineer Virginia Carter said to keep your roof and gutters clean of any dead leaves and debris that could easily catch embers. Keeping your grass mowed to about a height of 4 inches can also reduce the risk of your home being affected by a grass fire. More tips include moving firewood at least 30 feet from your home, removing dead leaves from plants and lower branches of trees, and clearing out window screens and attic vents. Payne County is also still considered to be in a severe drought despite the recent rain the area has had.
Payne County is still recommending that they don't want you to burn any brush piles because that's something that could easily get out of control if you're not cognizant and paying attention to what you're doing.
Preventing devastating wildfires like this one that occurred right here in Payne County all comes down to being aware of when your area is in a severe drought or under a burn ban.
Being aware of existing burn bans in your area can prevent the destruction of your property and entire community. Notifications of existing burn bans in your area are broadcasted through the radio, social media, and your local news stations. For News OSU, I'm Jolie Sully.
One of Stillwater's busiest roads is currently under construction. Perkins Road is down to just 1 lane for a 2-mile stretch. In half-mile increments, the Oklahoma Department of Transportation is at the beginning of an $18 million renovation of Perkins Road. The construction has gone down to 1 lane just north of Virginia Avenue and concluding just one north of Lakeview Road.
See, we're going to make it definitely a lot safer, like for travel and stuff like that. Kind of like by Buffalo Wild Wings too, and Lowe's and stuff right there. It's pretty tight right there, so make it a lot safer.
The project takes about 2 years, depending on weather, but work will be suspended in fall for the Oklahoma State University football game day traffic. The United States adopted a plan to preserve daylight. Now, the new legislation may get passed that would make this year long. In this week's segment of I'm Just Saying, Katie Pelzel breaks down the new proposal for you.
In the fall, we set our clocks to standard time, which many people see as us gaining an hour of sleep. In the spring, we set it to daylight saving time, or losing an hour.
Switching in and out of daylight savings time is outdated, and it's only a source of annoyance and confusion. Frankly, it's just dumb, and there's just no other way to say it.
According to the Associated Press, 31% of adults in a survey would like to keep daylight saving time all year. However, 40% would like to keep standard time. Only 28% say they would like to keep switching back and forth. It is clear the population is tired of changing the time, but there isn't a majority to decide which time to keep. Do we keep daylight saving time so the sun sets later, or do we go with the highest percentage and keep standard time year-round? The United States Senate passed the Sunshine Protection Act on March 15th, which will make daylight saving time permanent in 2023 if it's passed by the House. The thought is that the sun setting later year-round will help decrease seasonal depression, give children more time in the sun after school, and make evenings safer. However, there's been a failure to realize that while on December 21st the sun would set at 6:15 instead of 5:15, it won't rise that day until nearly 9 a.m., meaning children will be waiting at the bus stop in the dark. Adults will drive to work in the dark, increasing the chance of accidents. The sun rising later may also have effects on health. A study in 2019 found that the sun setting later led to 19 fewer minutes of sleep. This can lead to sleep deprivation, which can cause health conditions such as obesity and heart disease. The later sunrise and sunset throws us off from environmental cues.
Body clock isn't going to adjust to that well.
Although there are major health concerns with permanent daylight saving time, there are some benefits. Permanent daylight saving is good for the economy because it allows businesses to stay open longer for people to shop after work. However, businesses make the most money around the holidays when there is the least daylight. Depending on where you live, the sun would rise and stay up later with the permanent daylight saving time. But that's the whole point. It depends on where you live. 28 states, including Oklahoma, are taking it into their own hands to decide what time they want to keep. But this could be confusing when it comes to travel. If Arkansas keeps daylight saving time, but Oklahoma goes to standard, travel times will be hard to navigate.
Adopting standard time permanently would make the most sense to match the rest of the world, ease confusion, and work with travel. I'm Katie Belzell, and I'm just saying.
The Flying Aggies are a student flying club here at OSU. The club hosts its fly-in once a year, and this is the first year since COVID. The fly-in happened this Saturday at the Stillwater Airport. On average, the Aggies see about 700 people attend the fly-in every year. Alumni, students, and visitors line the tarmac to see aircraft from the past 100 years. Ryan Austin is the vice president of the Flying Aggies, and he says the fly-in is beneficial for everyone.
Outside of aviation, we've got people coming in from all over Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas, all over the region. Really excited to just promote aviation to people who aren't familiar with it. The community gets to experience the aircraft and the pilots that are coming in, and then the pilots that come in get to experience all that we have to offer here.
Fly-in is held every year in the spring. This event supports the Flying Aggies while promoting aviation to the community. State Representative Justin Humphrey said he's leading a little chicken resurrection as he attempts to get a bill through the legislature that would reduce Oklahoma's cockfighting penalties from felonies to misdemeanors. It also adds new fines up to $2,000 for repeat offenders and redefines what constitutes a battle between roosters. His Senate Bill 1522 would also require birds to be fitted with artificial spurs, knives, or gaffs to qualify as cockfighting. Opponents called the proposal a terrible idea that would turn Oklahoma into a haven for cockfighting and accused Murphy of colluding with individuals who are knowingly committing a state and federal crime.
As we start our journey through April, two athletic teams stand out amongst the spring sports here on the Oklahoma State University campus. These two squads play similar sports. However, one diamond is much bigger than the other. I'm talking about this year's Cowgirls softball team and Cowboy baseball team. Both find themselves rolling into April with what seems like nothing can slow them down. Cowgirls softball head coach Kenny Gajewski and company are hitting their stride at the right time. The Cowgirls find themselves at 28-6 with an unblemished 6-0 record in Big 12 conference play. The Cowgirls' 11-game win streak was capped off as they took the brooms to Waco, defeating the Baylor Bears 3-0. Caitlin Carwile delivered on offense for the Cowgirls in the series finale, coming up with 2 clutch hits down the stretch. Carwile also reached base via the walk while driving in an RBI in the process. The Cowgirls would go on to sweep the series in Waco by a score of 7-2. Pitcher Miranda Elish earned her 9th win of the season on the mound, turning in 6 innings of 2-run softball. The Cowgirls take a midweek trip tomorrow to Wichita State and then head up to Iowa State to do battle with the Cyclones. Good luck to the Cowgirls the rest of the way. Let's move across the way to a little bit of a bigger diamond. It's time to talk about Cowboy baseball. The Cowboys are led by arguably the most impressive, experienced coaching staff in all of college baseball. Coach Josh Holliday, Matt Holliday, and Robin Ventura have been fortunate enough to witness this success firsthand.
A beautiful display of elite pitching, tremendous team defense, and just a couple of really key swings of the bat.
The Cowboys are currently 20-8 as they attempt to dominate Big 12 play. Having success in conference play could give the Cowboys the greatest opportunity of them all, and arguably every college baseball player's dream, a trip to Omaha. That all begins this week as the rival Oklahoma Sooners make a weekend trip to O'Brate Stadium to toe the rubber with the Pokes. The last meeting exactly a week ago didn't go too well for the Cowboys. After leading the majority of the game, Oklahoma plated the final tally on a walk-off walk to give OU the 7-6 victory. The key to the Cowboys' success has been getting the job done on the home turf. The Pokes are 11-3 when playing ball at O'Brate Stadium this season and look to continue the dominating outings. First pitch is scheduled for 6 o'clock this Friday, April 8th against the Sooners. Well, it's officially Masters Week to all the golf fans out there, and that means the Cowboy golf team took the trip to Augusta, Georgia to compete in the Haskins Award Invitational. The second-ranked Cowboys dominated the golf course. OSU's Eugenio Shiraka was among the trio of players to finish tied for second place, posting a 205. Shiraka has had his sights set on the PGA, as he is now placed within the top 5 of 4 of OSU's 6 starts. It seems like we will see many OSU golfers end up on the tour, much like ex-Cowboy Victor Hovland has.
That, I'd say, like, that was one of the things that really got me to go to this school, because it was just to hear kind of him talk about it, because I knew him a little bit. It wasn't like I was just hearing from a random guy on the team that I didn't know before.
That's a wrap on sports. We look forward to continuing to follow the spring sports as we keep moving forward.
And that's all for News OSU for Tuesday, April 5th. Stay safe and we'll see you next week. For News OSU, I'm Channing Nesmith.